champ is here.
We will definitely not shut up and dribble.
The champ is here. I must be the greatest. The champ is here.
I'm going to continue to stand with the people.
The champ is here.
I will not lose.
I'm a bad man. I shook up the world.
Yes, welcome. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with we. My name is EJ, and I got my man,
MH.
Yes, he's the DB of the show, and we are Black in Sports, giving a voice to the culture that won't shut up and dribble. Here today, we're bringing you back inside the locker room and, more topics about why we will not shut up and dribble, man. So, MH, you ready to do this?
Yes, sir.
All right, man. So the league just really handed down, its final decision of something that's kind of been going on, I guess, behind the scenes. And, I guess it spurred with a incident, even though we should say multiple incidents. And they finally came out with their findings for Robert Sarver, the owner of the Suns and Mercury. They always say the Suns, and we forget he owns that whole franchise with the Suns and the WNBA team, the Mercury. So Bob, I'm just going to call him Bob. Bob got a year suspension, and what was it? 10 mil?
10 mil. Yep. Fine, $10 million.
And so that's just recently released, and then now it's time for the public reaction, right? Was it enough? So that's what we're gonna sit here and talk about today, man. And I guess that'll be my first question to you, man. Was it enough?
I don't know. I think there's a lot of stories out in sports about just kind of let's just call it, rich white man in power. From a lot of different levels, who just behave in a unseen way. So, no, just to quickly answer, I don't think it's enough. What is sitting back a year and $10 million to a billionaire? I don't know. I don't know what is. I don't know how that looks financially for him. I'm sure he can handle it.
Is it a write-off? All of this stuff, right? We
yeah.
don't even know, right?
Yeah, so I don't know. I don't know if the charges necessarily match the crime per se, but we'll see. And how old is Robert Sarver?
So that's a good question. He's definitely 50 plus, right? He's because it's one of those things, right? They make their money he's a real estate dude. Is I think how he originally made his money,
right?
But yeah, and it's not the first time this has happened too. I think that's the other ongoing kind of narrative that's happening,
right? And then I know a lot of, what's my guy from the Clippers name? A lot of stories just came back up about Donald Sterling too.
Oh, Donald. We were going to get into that, right?
In relation to this, yeah. Mm-hmm. And Donald Sterling, no longer. He's no longer the owner, so I don't know what the difference is. I guess I'll put it that way.
So that's the thing, right? And I guess we probably should have backed up, but we're not going to back up because people can just do their search and do their homework, so they can kind of read up on this. Just search Suns owner, and you'll get the backstory. But yeah, so we've had this instance now. One of the things that I've kind of heard is that they haven't. This is all he say, she said. They haven't caught the little hooker on tape, right? That was the difference between Donald Sterling. Right?
Yeah,
yeah, it's allegations.
Right.
So that's big. And Donald, and he is Bob is 60 years old.
Got it. Nearly 2 decades of I guess said abuse in the workplace it's still a lot. That's a lot of hearsay, she say type thing, and not everybody's not telling the truth, right? So
correct.
Somebody's telling the truth in that. So what's the saying? Where there's smoke, there's usually fire. So I don't know.
Or walk like a duck, talk like a duck, right? You ain't gonna hit me with the crack.
Oh, Stephen A. say it ain't a damn man, mongoose. That's his.
So, but no, and that's the thing. So, we'll see where this goes. But I agree with you. Just like the early ons, when you look at it, you're saying he's a governor, and that's the other thing that's funny to me, man. They're attempting to go from
Yeah,
owner
NBA. Yeah. They,
call people governors or whatever it is.
yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
you can miss me with that. I mean, it is what it is.
Let's just call it what it is.
Yeah, facts. But yeah, what is that to an owner, right? Like he can still watch it on TV. Like it's almost like a day out. Like, what is it? Like he can still go to away games, or is he just like banned from the NBA? But who cares? It's like it's a year off. You're still making money. Like, they hired some interim guy that's going to be like running the show while you're not there. Like,
Yeah,
yeah.
he just I mean, lock my suite up and don't nobody sitting in until I get back type thing. I don't know.
So we'll see what the
I don't know
next
if it
steps
does.
are, right? Because like
Yep.
right now, it's in the court of public opinion right now. So it's like they throw this out, we'll see what happens. It's happened in plenty of cases to where like they throw stuff out and says, all right, let's see how much backlash we get from the fans, other people in the league, the players, and the sponsors, right?
Yeah, the sponsors is probably key to your point. So we'll see.
We'll see what happens with that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think people are making that cry, and as far as people are coming out against them, and it's bad when one of your own partners in business comes out on you. So there's an ownership group where Bob is the large stakeholder, but he
Okay.
has other people. So the second majority or minority owner, however you classify them, came
Right.
out and was like, hey, you should resign. Like called him
Mhm.
out, put it out in public. I think he's going to start doing the news circuits, or if it hasn't come out, you're going to start seeing him come out and like, hey man, you should resign. So what's your thoughts on that? Because I definitely have an opinion on that.
Go ahead. I want to hear your opinion on it.
So, and I think this is me more wanting to understand the business side of it, like how it
Right.
works. Like, is he saving face? Because this is like, if he resigns, do they get to keep it? Right. Or
Mhm.
if they force him, if he's forced to a sale, does everybody have to sell, right? Or does he just have to sell his ownership? So that's what I don't understand, because I think it was the same thing with Sterling, right? Like he had to sell. And I don't
Right.
know if he was the outright owner. I doubt it,
Right.
because even if you're the
Yeah.
majority, there's
You got
still some people that have like little slivers, little cuts or whatever.
right.
So I wonder, this dude's trying to jump out and be like, hey man, why don't you just go ahead and step down? We'll cut you some back stuff, points off the back, right? Like that's how they do it. So it's just interesting, and hopefully his intentions are like, hey, this is wrong. This is not how we do things. And he wants to keep it, but maybe he's just trying to, cut off some of the gangrene so he can at least keep part of the part of the leg, right?
Hey, I think you probably right in both cases. So I think you're onto something.
So, but people have been coming out. LeBron's come out. You got
He got to come out.
he has to. He's like the unofficial president, ambassador, commissioner of the league. Coach, GM,
GM, number one player. He everything.
all that.
So yeah, let me read through his tweets. I always love LeBron James tweets. Let me pull it up here.
And it always funny is because like whatever's news story, like even because I think we talked about this too, like in the playoffs, right? Like when he's out of the playoffs, somehow he says something and it's on Sports Center, like talking about like, this
like there can't be an NBA topic, and if you gets a whole lot of coverage that he's not mentioning it. So he's got to make himself known and his opinions known all the time, which is cool. I mean, cool. He has a platform. I ain't gonna hate, but yeah. Let me read through his tweet, 'cause I like LeBron James tweets. So he tweets yesterday. Read through the Sarver stories a few times now. It only took me one time to read, but a few times.
Well, he's showing you how deep he's going into it.
Yeah, he's got time. It's off season. He read over it about 3 or 4 times. Gotta be honest, our league definitely got this wrong. I don't need to explain why. Y'all read the stories, decide for yourself. I said it before and I'm gonna say it again. There's no place in this league for that kind of behavior. I love this league. I deeply respect our leadership, but this isn't right. There's no place for misogyny, sexism, and racism in any workplace. Don't matter if you own the team or play for the team. We hold our league up as an example of our values, and this ain't it. Period.
Period. This ain't it.
I love LeBron James because I know that wasn't he didn't. I can see it both ways. Either he's hitting his phone like Kermit, or I think at this point, I think LeBron James is 37, right?
Mhm.
He's year 21. Yeah, he's speak takers in that. That's a speaking to your
He's speaking to your phone and then going back and makes like rereading
yeah. Made
sure
a couple edits on the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely he definitely spoke that. But I agree with LeBron James. Once LeBron has spoken, he needs some action to be done. So we'll see. To your point earlier, man, we'll see what happens from here. LeBron James has made his opinions very felt, and so we'll see. You know who I kind of feel sorry for, and I never really feel sorry for this individual is Chris Paul. He finds himself in these weird ass situations with ownership a few times. So.
In the league in general, like he was supposed to be, was it a Laker a long time ago, and they blocked the trade, right? Like,
yeah,
he's always in the middle of like
he like Vegas in any sports story. He always in the middle of it,
and then Chris Paul, the whole shit changes. No, he's definitely always in like just kind of a juxtaposition, man. But he always works it out some way or the other. But he has to go the long way through it to get it done.
He has to.
But no, so, and by the way, we need to we're gonna talk offline, man. We need to do like LeBron's tweets in one of our shows. We need to figure that out.
Oh, we gotta get a bracket for them, man.
But so this is just kind of going back, like I said, to the state of what's going on. And if you look at any kind of workplace, right? Like they always attempt to, like, when they instituted the dress code, right? That when they do certain rules and things that they put out there, they're like, because this is, a job, this is your workplace. Any other workplace in our daytime jobs, like that's zero, like you can't do this. And it wasn't just like misogyny, it wasn't just like racism, it was like, all of the above. Like he hit all kind of categories multiple times. And like you said, it's not that one person said it, right? It wasn't just a female or male counterpart. And then you even had people come on like, oh, was it a former player, to be like, oh, that's just the way he does things. Like, hold on, what?
Right.
Like, wait, like the man's dropping his pants at like Christmas parties. Like,
come on,
man. Like you can't do that. So I just think from a workplace, like it's really not that hard, I guess, right? Like that's not getting passed by or kind of pushed under the rug anywhere else.
Yeah, I mean, there's a part of the story that said he repeated the N-word when kind of recounting statements of others, which, like, come on, man. I know if you do it more than 5 times, you know what you're doing, and you kind of do it on like purpose, like, hey, man,
because like, oh, this is not me saying it. This nigga said it. Like, no, dog.
Come on, dog. Come on. You know what you're doing, sir.
You know what you're doing. You can't have niggas in Paris on repeat. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Nah,
it's interesting. And I guess as we, society is changing and, there's a new generation where these things are like, just put in light more. Like, hey, there's a stopping and a finale to them. A little bit more than there was in our past when we kind of grew up and our parents grew up, which is a good thing for sure, because people are getting held accountable for things that have just been, hearsay probably in, future or past generations.
But not even hearsay though. Like some of them have just been brazen with it. Like, just like,
Yeah.
no, I said it. Like, but I know I'm in that, going back to that, that WP, that privilege that they get to walk around with, and some of that stuff is starting to get checked. So more and more. And I think that's why there's some other things that are just kind of changing. And like we said, things are changing, but one of the things that really kind of brought up is like when we were doing preparations for this and I searched that, what came up like next or around that? Hey, slavery is still on the ballot. I'm like, damn. Wow. Right? Because you look at these things that are still happening, and hopefully some of our listeners know that like a form of slavery is still on the ballot, and I think it's either 5 or like 7 states. Wow. And it's just like it's stuff that needs to be changed, that, like you said, that from our parents' standpoint to where we are, and people are like pointing it out. And it's not like, you know, the original form of the history of slavery, but it's a form of slavery, and it's talking about that prison reform for those that don't, you know about it, and, you know,
Right.
Google look up on that. But it's just to say, like, the 13th Amendment said, you know, we abolish slavery unless we think you're a criminal. And then that's what our prison system is, you know, that free labor, you know, that, and they talk about like how all these prison systems are making money because, you know, these dudes are making everything from microchips to napkin rolls or whatever you want to call it, you know.
Yeah, it's there's some deep issues. I mean, you know, when it comes down to, I mean, America is not a old country, right? So, like, you know, things, you know, my own grandmother, who rest in peace, grandmother, but I mean, she picked cotton. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So this is my dad's mother, right? It's like, this is not too far removed from me and in my daughter mine, right? That's just a couple of generations, right? So
Like that you can actually talk to someone and like say, like, it's
yeah,
not, well, why am I going Hayward Spencer?
yeah.
Like
Yeah.
he that brother's like cotton picking hands, like that's great. And then he was a professional basketball player. Like to
Right.
go from, you know, yeah, it's just crazy.
It is crazy. And then, you know, I even think, you know, this story it's funny because this story is kind of coming on the same time as Brett Favre's thing, and then that's a whole nother 30-40 minutes if we wanted to get into that, about taking money from those that need. It's just, you know, that's you know, crazy. So we got a lot of work to do in this country, and, you know, while we've made some success and we want to pat ourselves on the back on some steps made forward, I'm very thankful that again, you know, I live in a different world than my grandmother lived, but to what I was saying earlier, it's not that far removed, right? So there's still some residuals that we got a lot of work to do in this country. And to those, believe it or not, like we do.
A
We
lot.
do.
Hey,
do.
because and it's so funny. We're still having first, right? So that's one of the earmarks that you can say is like, we're still having first, right? Like the Raiders' first female Black president, like that's a first, and that just happened a couple of months ago, right? So
2022.
so when you're still having first, and
You might have been league wide, actually. You know what I mean? So like, yeah, like it. It's yeah. We got a lot of work to do.
so, but we're getting there. So now, like I said,
Progress.
I think there's progress. So I think, you know, this is in the court of public opinion now. So, you know, we dropped this episode, and, you know, we'll see kind of how it goes, you know, for the next couple of weeks. You know, I think in alignment with you, like, you know, I just don't think that he should have a league if this is the thoughts he believes in, right? Because from the racist standpoint, you know, at least what 80-85% of the league are Black. Then you own a women's basketball team as a part of, you know, that ownership group that the governorship group that you have. So it's these things that are just kind of have to be like point blank zero tolerance type things, and you move forward with it, right? Like you had your chance, you messed up, you know, we got to keep it moving.
Yeah.
So, MH, any final thoughts before we get out of here?
Nah, man. Pray for all those that are affected. Everybody's affected by this. I mean, let's say all those. Everybody's affected by this, and we'll see what happens.
We will definitely see. All right. Well, hey, want to thank you all for listening, man. Please kind of give us your comments in the comment section. This is definitely something we're going to take to the live show. We're going to get the masses what they feel about it, and, you know, there may be some updates by then. Please share the show. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you see it, you can be it. Our podcast drops every Thursday. You can check it out wherever podcasts are available. Please stay safe, practice gratitude, and know we're rooting for you.
Screaming, all us blacks got is sports and entertainment until we even.
Assuming I'm rooting for everybody that's Black. Yeah. Yeah. Assuming I'm rooting for everybody that's Black. Look. Assuming I'm rooting for everybody that's Black. Spent about 2 racks on handmade new rags. Assuming I'm rooting for everybody that's Black. That's everybody from sports to college class to rap and back.